The Arapaho, in French, Arapahos, Jinstavac, are a tribe of Native Americans historically living on the plains of Colorado and Wyoming. They were close allies of the Cheyenne tribe and loosely aligned with the Lakota and Dakota. The Arapaho language, Hinachit, is an Algonquian language closely related to Grosvenor, whose people are seen as an early offshoot of the Arapaho. Blackfeet and Cheyenne are the other Algonquian speakers on the plains, but their languages are quite different from Arapaho. By the 1850s, Arapaho bands formed two tribes, the Northern Arapaho and Southern Arapaho. Since 1878, the Northern Arapaho have lived with the Eastern Shoshone on the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming and are federally recognized as the Arapaho tribe of the Wind River Reservation. The Southern Arapaho live with the Southern Cheyenne in Oklahoma. Together, their members are enrolled as the federally recognized Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. Name: the Arapaho Otanumazine Ono or Inanina, our people or people of our own kind. When referring to the tribe they use Inanoatin, Arapaho Nation. They were also known as Sadanho 4 or Hedanvoio/Hedanvooo, people of the sky or cloud people, by their Cheyenne allies, or Mapato, blue cloud men, by Dakota, Mapietho, blue sky people, Balakota and Assiniboine. The Caddo, Taniobinano or Taniobinizino, Pierce Nose people, called them Ditskia, the Wichita, Inazauno, Nyaris Kurikawahuski, and the Comanche Sariathka, Saratka, Satatagas, all names signifying dog eaters. To Pawnee, Ute and other tribes they were also known as dog eaters. The Northern Arapaho, who called themselves Ninkansainen or Nukosaino, White Sage Men, were known as Banklinen or Ba-Usino, Red Willow Men, to the Southern Arapaho, whereas the latter were called by their northern kin Nawataniha or Nuuno, Southerners. The Northern Arapaho were also known as Psakuna, B-E-Ga-Nano, Blood Soup Men. The Cheyenne adapted the Arapaho terms and referred to the Northern Arapaho as Vanahetan or Vanahetanio/Vanaatanio, sage, brush, people, and to the Southern Arapaho as Namsanat or Namsano, Southerners. Historic political and dialect Arapaho divisions and bands. The Arapaho recognize among themselves 5 main divisions, each speaking a different dialect and apparently representing as many originally distinct but cognate tribes. Through much of Arapaho history, each tribal nation maintained a separate ethnic identity, although they occasionally came together and acted as political allies. Each also spoke mutually intelligible dialects, but there existed a degree of difference from Arapaho proper. Dialectically, the Hanainan, Bisoanano, and Inanoino were closely related. Arapaho elders claim that the Hanahauina dialect was the most difficult to comprehend of all the dialects. In the classic ethnographic study, Alfred Kroeber identified these 5 nations from south to north: Nanasanaha'ana, Nawathaniha, toward the south people, or Nanwuinan, No3Inhino, southern people. Their now extinct language dialect, Nawathinha, was the most divergent from the other Arapaho tribes. Hanahauina, Hananaksaunanurananhawa, rock men or rock people, occupying territory adjacent to, but further north of the Nanasanaha'ana, spoke the now extinct Hananahaunina dialect. Inanoino or Hinanianan, Arapaho proper, they spoke the Arapaho language, Hinatit Bisoanano, Basanwanan or Basaunina, Big Lodge people or brush hut/shelter people, resided further north of the Inanoino. Their war parties used temporary brush shelters like the dome-shaped shade or sweat lodge of the Great Lakes Algonquian peoples. They are said to have left their old homes more recently than the other Arapaho tribes. Note: many people say their name actually means Great Lakes people or Big Water people. They spoke the now extinct Bisau-Unina, Bisuitit, Big Lodge, Great Lakes language, dialect. Hanainan, Aaninan or Aani, White Clay people or Lime people, the northernmost tribal group that would retain their ethnic distinctiveness as the historic Gros Ventre or Atsina, Atjina, like a Cree, that is enemy in Blackfoot, Nitsitapepotan or Nitsipuzan, also called Pixixina, snakes, that is enemies, after the division their kin, the other Arapaho peoples, who considered them inferior, called them Hitunina or Hishiunina, begging men, beggars, or more exactly spongers. They speak the nearly extinct Gros Ventre, Ananan, Ahanlan, language dialect, called by the Arapaho, Hituyuitit, begging men language. There is evidence that the southern Hanainan tribal group, the Stitan Band, together with bands of the later political division of the northern Arapaho, spoke the Bisau-Unina dialect. Before their historic geopolitical ethnogenesis, each tribal nation had a principal headman. The exact date of the ethnic fusion or fission of each social division is not known, but elders state that the Inano, Arapaho proper, and Bisonano, Big Lodge people or brush hut/shelter people, fought over the tribal symbols, the sacred pipe and lance. Both sacred objects traditionally were kept by the Bisonano. The different tribal nations lived together and the Bisonano have dispersed for at least 150 years among the former distinct Arapaho tribal groups. By the late 18th century, the four divisions south of the Hanainan, White Clay people or Lime people, or Gros Ventre, Atsina, consolidated into the Arapaho, so that only the Arapaho and Gros Ventre, Atsina, were recognized as separate tribal nations. While living on the Great Plains, the Inano, all Arapaho bands south of the Hanainan, divided historically into two geopolitical social divisions: Northern Arapaho or Nkansinan, sagebrush people, Nukhosaino, white sage people, are called by the Southern Arapaho Baosino or Bachina, red willow men. The Kiowa know them as the Agiko, sagebrush people, a translation of their proper name. They keep the sacred tribal articles, and are considered the nucleus or mother tribe of the Arapaho, being indicated in the Plains Indian Sign Language, B3 Sohoat, by the sign for mother people. They absorbed the historic Hunahau'uina and Bisonano. There are still about 50 people of Bisonano lineage among the northern Arapaho, and perhaps a few with the other two main divisions. Southern Arapaho, Nau'unina or Nu'uno, southern people, are called by the northern Arapaho Nawathaniha, southerners. The Kiowa know them as a Hudal, the, plural, name for the wild plum. The sign for the southern Arapaho is made by rubbing the index finger against the side of the nose. They absorbed the historic Nanwuinan, No'o3inhino, southern people, and some Bisonano. History. Early history. The ancestral Arapaho-speaking people, Hitanano'ino, lived in the western Great Lakes region along the Red River Valley in what is present-day Manitoba and Minnesota around 3,000 years ago. 5. In the Great Lakes region, the Arapaho were an agricultural people who grew crops, including maize. 6. Together with the early Cheyenne people, Haitagino, the Arapaho were pushed westward onto the eastern Great Plains by the Ojibwe, who were numerous and obtained guns earlier from their French allies. The ancestors of the Arapaho people entered the Great Plains from the western Great Lakes region sometime before 1700. During their early history on the plains, the Arapaho lived on the northern plains from the South Saskatchewan River in Canada south to Montana, Wyoming, and western South Dakota. Before the Arapaho acquired horses, they used domestic dogs as pack animals to pull their travois. Horses were first acquired in the early 1700s by the Arapaho and became central to their way of life as a nomadic people. The introduction of the horse to Arapaho society allowed them to pull greater loads, hunt more meat, hunt easier, travel faster, and travel farther. Gradually, the Arapaho moved farther south, split into the closely allied northern and southern Arapaho, and established a large joint territory spanning land in southern Montana, most of Wyoming, the Nebraska Panhandle, central and eastern Colorado, western Oklahoma, and extreme western Kansas. A large group of Arapaho split from the main tribe and became their own independent people, commonly known as the Gros-Ventre-Roraxina. The name Gros-Ventre, meaning big bellies in French, was a misinterpretation of sign language between an Indian guide and French explorers. The Gros-Ventre spoke a similar language to the Arapaho after the division and referred to themselves as Ainainan, meaning white clay people. The Arapaho often viewed the Gros-Ventre as inferior and referred to them as Hitunina or Hituyutin, meaning beggars. Expansion on the plains. Once established, the Arapaho began to expand their presence on the plains through trade, warfare, and alliances with other plains tribes. Around 1811, the Arapaho made an alliance with the Cheyenne, Haitagino, scarred one. Their strong alliance with the Cheyenne allowed the Arapaho to greatly expand their hunting territory. By 1826, the Lakota, Dakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho pushed the Kiowa, Nicaehino, Kiowa tribe, Nicaehitin, and invading Comanche south. Conflict with the allied Comanche and Kiowa ended in 1840 when the two large tribes made peace with the Arapaho and Southern Cheyenne and became their allies. Chief Little Raven was the most notable Arapaho chief that helped mediate peace among the nomadic Southern Plains tribes and would retain his reputation as a peace chief throughout the Indian Wars and Reservation period. The alliance with the Comanche and Kiowa led to the most southern of the Arapaho bands being able to enter the Llano Estacado and the Texas Panhandle. One band of southern Arapaho became so closely allied with the Comanche that they were absorbed into the tribe, adopted the Comanche language, and became their own band of Comanche known as the Sariathka, Satatagas, or Dog Eaters Band. They had active trade relationships with the farming villages of the Arikara, Mandan, and Hidatsa on the Missouri, trading them excess meat and hides for corn, squash and beans. The Arikara called them Colored Stone Village people, possibly because gemstones from the southwest were among the trade items. The Hidatsa called them Mitalauridaidi, Bison Path people. Conflict with Euro-American traders and explorers was light, and the Arapaho freely entered various trading posts and trade fairs to exchange mostly bison hides and beaver furs for European goods such as firearms. The Arapaho frequently came into contact with fur traders in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and the headwaters of the Platte and Arkansas, and became well-known traders on the plains and bordering Rocky Mountains. The name Arapaho may have come from the Pawnee word Tyarpu, or Lurpu, probably applied to the tribe from the fact that they were the trading group in the Great Plains region for Hebes or trades or traders. Another source for their tribal name could be that the white traders referred to them by their Crow, Upsahtlukalawa, name Malaho, which meant people with many tattoos. The Arapaho had tattooed small circles on their bodies. The traders' pronunciation of Arapaho soon led to the widespread use of the name Arapaho. Enemies and warrior culture. A large part of Arapaho society was based around the warrior, which most young men strive to, but were not obligated to become. After the introduction of the horse, the Arapaho quickly became master horsemen and highly skilled at fighting on horseback. The role of the warrior in Arapaho society was much more than just combat. Warriors were expected to keep peace among the camps, provide food and wealth for their families, and guard the camps from attacks. Like other Plains Indians, including their Cheyenne allies, the Arapaho have a number of distinct military societies. Each of the 8 Arapaho military societies had their own unique initiation rites, pre- and post-battle ceremonies and songs, regalia, and style of combat. Unlike their Cheyenne, Lakota, and Dakota allies, the Arapaho military societies were age-based. Each age level had its own society for prestigious or promising warriors of the matching age. As the warriors aged, they may graduate to the next society. Warriors often painted their face and bodies with war paint as well as their horses for reasons of empowerment. Each warrior had a unique design for the war paint that they often wore into battle. Feathers from birds, particularly eagle feathers, were also worn in battle as symbols of prestige and for reasons similar to war paint. Before setting out for war, the warriors organized themselves into war parties. War parties were made up of individual warriors and a selected war chief. The title of war chief must be earned through a specific number of acts of bravery in battle known as counting coups. Coups may include stealing horses unseen, touching a living enemy, or stealing a gun from an enemy's grasp. Arapaho warriors used a variety of weapons including war clubs, lances, knives, tomahawks, bows, shotguns, rifles, and pistols. Guns were acquired through trade at trading posts or trade fairs in addition to raiding soldiers or other tribes.